Since the spring, House Republicans have lived through a relatively calm 7 months, a period lacking the drama and infighting that have come to define their majority. That came to an abrupt end Monday night, when members of the Freedom Caucus tried to grind progress on tax legislation to a halt. These hard-right conservatives had no quarrel with the tax plan, they almost all voted for it, but they were looking for a hostage to grab and knew that this one would get everyone's attention. Their real target is the 2018 spending bill for federal agencies, along with a clutch of other must-pass items that conservatives oppose. Members of the Freedom Caucus have been down this road before. They believe year-end packages turn into massive Christmas trees littered with colorful add-ons. This week's rebellion was meant to remind House Speaker Paul D. Ryan's leadership team how little faith the conservative wing has in it to negotiate a good deal. If they have a good strategy all the way through, then we can get behind the strategy, but the strategy of trust me never works here, said Rep. Raul R. Labrador, R. Idaho, a co-founder of the caucus. First they tried to take down a procedural vote to move the tax bill into final negotiations with the Senate. Then they threatened to block a stopgap funding bill that, if not approved by Friday, would lead to a partial government shutdown. The conservative flank is even threatening to force Congress into session immediately after Christmas to handle the spending provision in the week leading to New Year's Day. These lawmakers want to separate the timing between the final version of the tax bill and spending legislation. The first spending vote, on a 2-week extension of funding, is supposed to come this week, buying time for larger negotiations on a 2-year budget outline that would devote more money to defense and domestic agencies. With shutdown looming, conservative Republicans try pushing back the next spending deadline. To some degree, the Freedom Caucus had been going along with the Trust Me strategy since the spring, ever since its members received the lion's share of the blame for the failure in late March to repeal the Affordable Care Act, finding themselves on the receiving end of angry tweets from President Trump. Rep. Mark Meadows, RNC, the Freedom Caucus chairman, returned from the spring recess and struck a deal with GOP moderates that allowed Republicans to narrowly pass their version of the Asahi repeal. Soon after, Ryan's House approved a massive government funding bill with little fanfare. In the summer, as the Senate failed to pass its repeal of the Asahi, the House sped through all 12 of next year's spending bills. In the fall, with surprising ease, Ryan ran up the score on his version of the tax bill. Most lawmakers agree that the biggest reason for that run of success is that Trump, not Barack Obama, sits in the Oval Office. Trump's standing among the most conservative voters remains strong. That makes it harder for rebellious lawmakers to defy Ryan if Trump is supporting a leadership call. Freedom Caucus members have argued that Trump has tilted the terrain in their favor and made it easier for them to go along with decisions.